What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review, and this time we're taking a look at the Simpsons movie released in 2007. Let's waste no time. Let's get right into it. So, I've been a big fan of The Simpsons ever since I started watching it when I was a very little kid. I love The Simpsons. It's one of my all-time favorite TV shows. I stopped watching the show like a long time ago, mainly because I think the new seasons, they just don't resonate anymore. And The Simpsons as a show kind of has lost its cultural relevance when you really look at it. The show is just existing to exist. But from season 1 to, let's say, season 10, those are like the first 10 seasons of The Simpsons were where the show was like at its apex. Then once you get to season 11, that's where you started to see the show, have highs and lows. And now, from what I've been hearing, for those who still watch the show was just hit lows and it's just existing for the sake of existing. But with all that being said, how do I feel about this movie? I enjoyed the Simpsons movie. I thought this was a lot of fun and long overdue. The overall plot of the Simpsons movie kind of plays out like an episode of the show. Homer creates a problem, and now he has to try and solve this problem. Only this time, the problem he creates is that he accidentally causes Springfield to get locked under a dome after he further pollutes the polluted lake of Springfield. So now, the entire town is under a dome, under the control of the EPA led by Russ Cargill. And in so doing so, Homer and his family have been ousted by Springfield. And this causes Homer and Marge to have a rift, which causes them to split. And now Homer has got to try to fix all the wrongs that he's made. That's the overall story of this movie. Plays out like a typical episode of the show. But how did this movie handle its story in a feature-length way? I thought it was pretty well done. I thought it was really well done. I enjoyed the Simpsons movie. It does a lot of callbacks to the TV show. We revisit a lot of areas that are classic in the TV show. We have some visual references that were from the TV show. The majority of the voice cast from the show are in this movie because you can't do a Simpsons movie without the original cast. And I thought everyone brought their A game. Dan Castellaneta has always been great as Homer, and he is no different in this movie. Julie Cleaver, Nancy Cartwright, Yardley Smith, Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, who voice classic characters, they're all in this as well. And every single one of them gets their own little moments of shine, which I appreciated, because The Simpsons is known for having a very large cast of characters. But the main staples, they all get their chance to shine. Like Harry Shearer has some funny bits as Mr. Burns, especially when the Springfield's under a dome and everyone has to try and get power from him and he just rejects them. Harry Shearer has his nice little Burnsy moments. So I liked all that. I like that stuff as well. I like the whole idea of the entire Simpsons family pretty much being public enemy #1 by an entire town because of Homer's screw up. He shouldn't have put his pig shit in the lake that he knew was already polluted, but Homer couldn't go to the slop house because free donuts make a man go crazy. That's right. Homer caused a problem because he wanted to get some free donuts. Typical Homer. I like all that. Plays into the natural stupidity of Homer Simpson as a character. And in that aspect, the movie does not portray all the characters at all whatsoever. Everyone plays who they're supposed to play. And I like how this movie tries to do some different things as well. Like, I like the whole idea of Bart, having a connection with Ned Flanders and having more in common with him than he does his own father. And when the Simpsons have to flee, you can see that Bart, he misses Ned and he wants to go back with Ned. I like all that stuff. That stuff is actually pretty cool. I like the bits of Homer and Bart doing like a truth or dare type of thing. That stuff is pretty well done, and that's actually what leads to Bart forming a connection with Ned, which was cool. That stuff was good. The stuff with Russ Cargill, voiced by Albert Brooks, I thought was absolutely hysterical. Albert Brooks in this movie is having a lot of fun just playing this over-the-top villain. And it's kind of reminiscent how he played the villain of Hank Scorpio in an episode of The Simpsons. But Hank Scorpio and Cargill are two different characters whatsoever. But Brooks brings that same just energy that he brought from that role to this role. And I thought he was hilarious as the villain Russ Cargill. And I like how he manipulates President Schwarzenegger into destroying Springfield. I thought that stuff was hilarious as well. The animation of this movie looks fantastic. It looks beautiful on the big screen. I like how everything is more detailed in movie form. Again, you got bigger budget, so now you can make more of the details pop, and a lot of the details pop as opposed to how they look in the TV show. So I like that stuff as well. Now the overall story of this movie, like, again, I thought for a feature-length story, it works, but you can also condense this into a 20-minute episode of the series as well, and I don't think you'd lose anything. I mean, the movie does have a whole lot of filler to it, to be honest with you, and I do think that Homer and Marge having their split at the halfway point it didn't really come out of nowhere, but I don't know. You didn't really need it. Like, Homer really needs to have, but we're just going to have Homer have this whole epiphany scene when he meets a big lady, when he meets a big boobied Eskimo woman who says, "You must have an epiphany in order to save everyone." You know, that was, okay. Didn't really get a whole lot of laughs out of that, but I did get a lot of laughs of Homer wanting to go to Alaska. I got a lot of laughs of Homer trying to ride a motorcycle at a circus and him constantly failing. The stuff with Bart is always a lot of fun. And like I said, Russ Cargill, that character, gave me a lot of laughs. And I do like the entire ending where Homer does save the day. If I were to have some complaints, I think this movie does have a political agenda, since this movie does deal with with environmental issues and the way the government handles certain environmental issues. I mean, you can tell that it was kind of getting on a soapbox a little bit by satirizing it and parroting it, but it doesn't take away from the movie as a whole. It does still keep its focus, but you can tell that there's a political agenda with this movie, and that's a give and take. You're either gonna like it or you're gonna hate it. Me, I'm not a huge fan of movies going on their soapboxes. I just want to be entertained. For the most part, the Simpsons movie does entertain me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say about the Simpsons movie. I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really, really good, which is why I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Simpsons movie, and let me know yours in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.